If you're setting up a new office, there are lots and lots of things that you've got to do. Well, we're going to give you 6 tips that are going to help you with NBN, and just take that off the stress list. Well, take 2 on this. We had a few things that just weren't working. As usual, the internet around our office hasn't migrated into the NBN land, and there were all sorts of things that just weren't working that all decided to collide together just as we started. But anyway, so getting back to where we're starting from, if you're setting up an office, then one of the key things you obviously need is to get a connection to the outside world, which is NBN. But you're doing that at the same time as you're working out leases, you're working out furniture, you're trying to get your staff moved in, you're sorting out equipment, you're trying to sort out signage. There's a whole lot of things which are just coming in to stress you out. And what we want to do is to just give you 6 tips that will work as a roadmap that will take the NBN off the stress list. Still work you have to do, but at least with the roadmap it makes it clearer what has to happen. So the very first thing is for your office, wherever it is, even if it's a home office, find out what the NBN type of connection is. This will usually be something like FTTB, FTTN, FTTP, or HFC. There are other types as well, but it's usually one of those types because that then determines a lot of other bits and pieces. Then, once you know that, the next important thing is to find out the connection point where it actually comes into your office, your building, or whatever. Find that out early, because there are many cases where things are not quite as advertised, and NBN will have to do some behind the scenes work that could take quite some time. In our case, there were some mix-ups that we won't go into detail, but they have taken 12 months to sort out. So for that reason, you want to jump onto this early and make sure that everything is straightforward. If there is a problem with the NBN connection on site, you are much better to find out early rather than later. Okay, so that's that one. The next thing, point number 2, is to contact your telecommunications provider, whoever that might happen to be. Now, there are a lot of them around these days. A lot of them are small players who have niches, mainly in the domestic market. So I would steer clear of those. If you're doing a business line, because they typically have internet services which work on a best efforts basis, and there's not as many guarantees on that. So try and look for somebody that's a telco that has a business level of support and capacity for you, but get something which matches the level of business that you need. A lot of small businesses do not need a high availability 24/7 internet line. If you've got a problem with it and you can fix it during business hours, that will save you a lot of money on the actual cost of the line. But if you're running 24/7 and you need to have it running 24/7, then there is an appropriate increase in the cost of that line to make sure that it does actually work that way. But you contact your telco, you work out all of those sorts of things. Give us a call, probably first might help, because we can then point you in the right direction, because telcos, they tend to want to push the products that sit most favourably with them. But there are lots of other products which they actually have on the back shelf, but they don't let you know about until you ask for them. So we can help you with that and just make sure you get something which works. And by the way, if you haven't seen it, we've got a video up also that talks about the speeds that are available with the NBN plans and what they mean. It's very useful to have a look at that as well. So contact your telco. Now, both of these you do immediately. I almost forgot, you talk to your telco and give them the date that you want the connection turned on. And again, if you give that ahead of time, if there's anything that needs sorting out, you've got a better chance of getting it done. But if you ring up and say, I want this connected next week, tomorrow, then you can run the risk of having to wait a week or two or a month, depending on what goes on. A lot of times in the current climate, yes, you can connect it with a matter of a couple of hours notice, but there are also plenty of cases you don't want to find that out at the last minute. Okay, number 3, do a site review. Now this can be done at any stage after you've contacted the telco and sorted all of that out, but before you actually move in. And this is just a planning session. What do you need the internet for? What internal networks do you need? What computers are you going to put in? Where are you going to put them? What existing cabling do you have in the environment? Is that sufficient for what you need? Do you need to put more in? How's your Wi-Fi going to handle? All of those sorts of things. Again, these are questions that need to be answered before you get there and find out that they're a problem, so they can do something about it. So that's number 3. Number 4 is sometime between the site review and when you log into your office, you configure that internal network for use, because we know that NBN is going to be coming. From the NBN type that you found out earlier, we know how that is going to connect into your internal network, and we can then set everything around that will work exactly the way that you want it to work. And it's even possible you can just do a dry run and you get things settled and confirm that they are working, so that when you move in on day 1, you actually have an active office. So that's the immediate things you need to do, 1 and 2. The site review, you do soon. The internal network configuring, you do soon. But then on the day that you move in, depending on how much has to happen and what comes out of your site review, consider having some support on site, just to cover the little things that do arise that weren't expected. Little things could be something as simple as a cable that has broken in transit. Your cables don't last forever, you need a new one. Or maybe there's a mismatch in the configuration between your computer's network settings and the new network settings. Little things like that that often don't surface. You may need this, you may not need it. This will come out of the site review, but definitely put it on your list to think about. Do I or don't I need to have support on the day that I move in? And last, but probably the most important, nominate somebody to work as a contact person, so that when everything is moving at 100 mile an hour on the day that you move in, if there is a problem with the tech stuff and the networking, all those sorts of things, you don't have to think about it. You just push that off to this one contact person. They can deal with all of the immediate issues and only float up those things that really need your attention if you need it. So that is very useful then for going on further down the track, because that's just somebody that can take the load off you on there. Well, that's it. 6 quick tips. You still need to do some work, but at least by having these tips, you have something to work to and just take the stress out of, what needs to be done next. And of course, you can give us a call and we can help you and assist you along the line with all of those. So, Daryl from Darbath, give us a call if you need any more information on this, and we'll catch you next week.